In 2004, this great zombie comedy came out, Shaun of the Dead, directed by Edgar Wright, written by Edgar Wright and Simon Pegg, starring Simon Pegg, right? And
That's an
what's his,
unfortunate last name.
and Nick Frost, right? This was at the height of when there was all these British movies coming out. I remember there was a whole time in the early 2000s that we were getting an influx of all these Studio Canal, of British movies. It's like movies from England. They were coming, and they were great movies. 28 Days Later, you had like
Beautiful.
Love Actually. You had if no one's seen Still Crazy, it's a great movie with Bill Nye, and it had all these
Run, fat boy, run. No,
that was way later. That was way later.
And you know what? All of them still had Bill Nye.
Every single one of those movies had Bill Nye. Yeah. This movie though, it's the one that started the Three Flavors Cornetto trilogy, right? With Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, and The World's End, right? Which is not the best ending to this, but there's people who love it.
Don't have a great ending.
But Shaun of the Dead is still one of the best takes on zombies and comedy. It's a zombie comedy, right? It's a really well written, well acted, well directed movie. And this is at the beginning of Edgar Wright, before Edgar Wright did like Scott Pilgrim, before he did all these other movies. This is the first movie he did, and this is a great movie. Like, what would happen 20 years later, and it's still great, right? But it's like, what would happen if a zombie apocalypse would hit? And it obviously hits, and it's centered around Shaun, who doesn't really have his life together, and he doesn't know what he's gonna do with his life, and he likes his life how it is. He is a simple dude. He's with his girl. I like to go to the pub. And likes his pub, likes his girl. That's it. It's all he needs. He likes his town and everything. His family, his friends. He's good with
video games.
Yeah, he doesn't need to be anything that he is, and nothing big, right? But this is that idea of what happens if a regular dude gets like this. All these people get trapped inside this whole zombie apocalypse, which I liked how they kind of peppered in things from like 28 Days Later, kind of, that it was the rage virus that caused the zombie apocalypse in this movie too. A lot of that stuff is connected. This movie was it's just still a lot of fun. 20 years later, it's even being re-released. Yeah, you can tell that there is a love for like the George Romero zombie movies.
Well, especially because they chose those type of zombies. They didn't choose like the more modern zombies where like they can move faster. No.
Wait.
Like the Dawn of the Dead remake.
Yeah. But if you notice, that's my own gripe. There's George Romero's Dawn of the Dead, and then there's Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead. The Zack Snyder one, Zack Snyder decided to make them fast zombies.
Yeah.
Well, then you got a Zombieland who also had different type that explained.
Yeah, but that was way after, because you have to realize, I think this movie brought back the people wanting to see zombie movies, because there wasn't any zombie movies. I remember hearing about this movie and like, oh cool, only one theater was playing this movie in LA in 2004.
What was it? Was it Cinema?
The ArcLight. Yeah, the ArcLight. I saw this movie at the ArcLight. That's where they showed all the classic British movies. Right. And I remember going to the theater, watching this in theaters and thinking, this is a really, really good movie. And then it caught on. And then all of a sudden you started seeing a whole bunch more zombie movies coming out, zombie comedies. Who would have ever thought to make a comedy with zombies? Like this is, I don't think there was another one before this that was like this kind of a well-written comedy.
Didn't Leslie Nielsen do one? Before one of his last ones called
Naked Gun?
That's Dracula, I think.
Oh, okay, Dracula didn't love it.
Yeah, it's not a zombie.
That's
But the thing is, the difference is this movie still has a little bit. This movie still has a little bit of horror. Has a little bit of horror in it, right? It still has horror pieces,
What
The
it
zombies are
has,
still
it also
somewhat
has a
scary.
lot of heart in it. Where you get to feel like when his mother passes, when she
With his
gets
mother, when Ed passes, when at the end with Ed, like the relationship
yeah,
between Shaun and Ed, the relationship between this is a comedy romance zombie movie. That's a weird combination
it's
for
got a
it
lot
to
of stuff
work.
in it. It's not. I don't like looking at it just like it's just a comedy because there's moments where you get to feel, and it's just kind of like, man,
And action.
I did not expect that. And there's action,
That whole
awkward
the
guy. It's
you
awkward
know
dude actions. What it is.
yeah,
It's
I
you
but
know
agree.
and the whole
it's not just
the gun
ripped like
battle at the
it's not like just giant ripped dudes. No, it's a pudgy dude doing action stuff, jumping a
yeah
fence, uh, jumping over a counter. It's just it's
the
weird.
rifle, the whole rifle thing,
Yeah,
and
that's
then
a
you have this, then you
Winchester.
have the
You know
then you
that
have the
fence jump he also does in Hot Fuzz.
Hot Fuzz, yeah, but
Yeah,
he does it better in Hot Fuzz because he's a professional cop at that point. But yeah, there's a lot of callbacks in Hot Fuzz. But
he's a
this one has all those. This has a lot of this has a lot of things in it, right? And again, this is one of those movies that started coming out again after what happened in 9/11, which is 2001. We weren't getting that many crazy movies like that. Then you get the zombie movie in 2004 that not in my opinion still knocks it. It's still a great movie. That's why it's being re-released for its 20th anniversary. New generate 20 years, new generations get to watch this movie, right? Some people don't even know about this movie. Younger generations don't know about this movie. Then they watch this movie. This is one of
That's
those
a great movie.
generational movies that it's just a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. Like you said, it has heart, it has a great story, great direction, great acting. It works in places other movies that tried didn't.
It also gave Simon Pegg and Nick Frost a career.
Yeah, because they were only known. Well, they had a career in Europe, right? In England, they were on TV. They did all that stuff, but this made them known worldwide, right?
Sweethearts.
Like how many Halloweens do you see a Shaun for Halloween? Do you see Ed for Halloween? You see all these
I don't
different
see it.
things. I see it all. I see it a lot still to this day. I see a lot of those Shaun of the Dead costumes. But
I also don't see guys just as a crow anymore.
why did you bring up the crow?
Which crow?
Why do you always bring up
Any
the
crow?
crow?
Any crow? I'm just saying. It's just
The
Why
new
do you
crow?
always the crow from the Wiz?
God,
What are they called in the
You
Wiz?
can't win.
No, so but this movie, on top of Simon Pegg and Nick Frost, it has Bill Nye. It has what other big names are in this now? Like the guy with the guy with the deep voice. He did the voice for. He does a lot of voices for things. The roommate.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah, the guy with that voice. Oh man, that guy's
the deep voice.
What a voice!
He did the voice for Darth Maul. The roommate that becomes a zombie in the movie.
Oh, that dude.
But yeah, he did the voice for Darth Maul and
Peter Surf.
Yeah, that guy. The Tick. He was the Tick.
You could have said that, dipshit.
I just remembered it. He was a Tick. But then of course he's
also in John Wick with doing the whole
he was also in Spy with Melissa McCarthy.
Yeah, the Italian thing is a voice in the
and then of course we have America's darling Bill Nye. But this there's I don't know what to say. It's just this movie is all around great. Like from the beginning when you get introduced,
isn't Mark Freeman in it?
He's in a quick cameo. But from the beginning where you get the introduction to the end, which is bittersweet. It's overall it's a fun time at the movies. It's a great movie to watch. And I'm glad it's getting the re-release.
I mean, it's so good that it is getting a re-release because Snyder's came out the same year and is not getting a re-release.
No. Well, I mean, because that Dawn of the Dead remake is
it's not bad.
It's taking the same story, but it's now no longer George Romero Dawn of the Dead. It's Zack Snyder's. Yeah. Like when you put those movies together, they're not the same movie. It's not a bad movie, but it's not as good as Shaun of the Dead. Shaun of the Dead has something special. It's something different. It's something that, like I said earlier, shouldn't have worked, but it did. Like it's one of those movies that at one point you could have seen this released direct to DVD at a point,
Yeah.
right? But because of cult following, because of it got a wider release. The more and more people saw it, it caught on. It was a good movie. It's well
Great
done.
movie.
Okay.
Great record.
No, see, but I will say that this did. We said gave them their careers. It gave Edgar Wright a career as a director. Did Baby Driver? Did obviously still did the rest of the trilogy. You know,
Should have done it, man.
Could have done Ant-Man. Decided not to do Ant-Man. It's all good. It's all good.
What was the whole pillow they had there?
They always say just creative differences. I don't know, whatever. But it's a very well done movie for when it was released, and it's still a great movie. It's one of those where if it's on TV, you would still probably sit down and watch it because
you can pick up whenever the movie goes on. Just mid movie, just keep watching it. Just you don't want to get away from it because you remember it so much.
And it's a movie that was only made for $6 million.
Nice.
That's all it was made for.
You know what I would do?
That's a movie that this is the movie where they focus more on telling a good story, having good characters, and having good. They didn't go crazy with the zombie makeup. Like typically now you get people with decaying bodies falling apart. You don't need that. You get the traditional George Romero zombie.
It kind of feels like, remember how we talked about how the Godzilla -1, the fact that Godzilla is just in the background,
secondary,
but it's a story. This is what the zombies felt like in this movie.
They were there. They were a threat.
Yeah.
This was really telling Shaun's story.
And you got to actually focus on that and not focus on just you had time to tell that story without having to focus on the zombies.
It told in the amount of time that you only get what? It's only a 99-minute movie. It's not a long movie. And within those 99 minutes, you get the relationship between.
I mean, you know what made it perfect? You know what made it perfect? One more minute.
You understand the relation. You understand the relationship between Shaun and Ed.
Yeah, that's what his wife tells him.
Yeah.
You know what would have been perfect? One more minute.
Yeah.
I'm spent.
Get her now.
You want some juice? No, so you get the relationship to Ed and Shaun. You understand you get the relationship to Ed and Shaun. You get the relationship between Liz and Shaun, right? And you also get that weird like infatuation between the guy with the Harry Potter looking dude and Shaun's girlfriend, even though he has a girlfriend with the chick from Wonder Woman. Right, it's all told within a short span of time, but you understand it. It's well told. That's the thing about this movie. The story is told very, very well.
Yeah,
that's why you don't need to bloat it with one extra minute.
Perfectly timed.
Perfect. If you haven't seen Shaun of the Dead, which
it should be on your list of
it's a must watch.
You know, in the new generations, when you guys find out about Shaun of the Dead and watch it, you guys are going to be glad you guys saw it because this is at the time it was unique to what it is, and there was other movies that try to replicate it that just haven't hit that same formula. This is a great movie that should be watched and should be re-released, and I'm glad they're re-releasing it in 4K Dolby and all that stuff. It's getting all that, it's getting the love it deserves.
Is that the Draft House? Movies.
I'm pretty sure, but they don't have Dolby at the Draft House.
Oh, so what?
The whole point is this movie is being re-released in 4K Dolby to get because again, I saw this in its original form, but to get the love and care to enhance it even better. Yeah. I can't speak more about it. It's just a great movie. Watch it so nothing gets spoiled for you. I'm not gonna spoil anything. I'm gonna shut up. I know you're gonna try to spoil stuff. Don't spoil nothing. This is one of those movies that you have to just experience. I highly recommend it. Go out and watch it. IMAX. Dolby.
Yeah, you just change your friend into when he turns to a zombie. That's all you gotta do.
Mm-hmm. Don't forget to wear florals.
On that note,
and the soundtrack is great.
It is. On that note, this has been Vinny.
This is Ozzy.
Adam.
We'll see you guys next time.
Dibby-doo-dibby-doo-doo.